Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this episode of the Hour of Power. I am Ptah Shakur, filling in for my good brother Sharif Ahmed, with this wonderful opportunity to share bits of insight, information, inspiration for all those that may hear the sound of my voice. This is a truly tremendous time that we're living in. We're living in a time that was written about in all the scriptures and all the scrolls. And so everything that's taking place right now, this is something to really be understood. This is the great and dreadful day of the Lord that was actually written about. It's great if you have information and knowledge as far as what's taking place, and it can be quite dreadful in the absence of this particular knowledge. What I'm going to encourage everyone to do, we do have a call-in number. That information will be shared on the scroll, on the scroll on the bottom of the screen. You can feel free to call in and get the most out of this particular conversation. I'm going to be going into some prepared information as well, and I'm definitely open up for anybody that want to do some questions and answers, any type of shout outs or anything that they want to add on to what's already been shared. So again, I am Ptah Shakur. I am the co-owner of the Our Sons and Daughters Bath and Body store here in Pennsylvania. Expanding. It's going to be in the neighborhood somewhere near you very, very shortly, as well as a co-owner of the Giver of Light, in which my queen and I, we are both Reiki practitioners, and we will do certain modalities such as Reiki, chakra balancing, and a few things of that nature. What am I doing here? Like I said, I'm filling in for my good brother, and basically what I'm here to drop jewels and chew organic bubblegum, and as they say, I'm all out of bubblegum. So I'm going to do my very best to make this a power pack 1 hour program. Got some information to share. For that call-in number, anyone that's interested, that number is 717-846-5067. This is actually streamed on the WRC TV channel, as well as it's streaming live on Facebook. So I do got a little promotional thing that I'm going to be going into. I got a little bag of gifts here for all of our listening audience to partake in. So basically, let me get back into this real quick, then I share what I got in my little goodie bag. I'm here to drop jewels. I'm a smorgasbord of information I've gathered. I am a researcher, spiritual teacher, youth advocate. I mentioned a Reiki practitioner, Ascended Master, and my duty is to provide for all those that are interested in this particular subject matter a way to get familiarized with some of this. Believe it or not, this subject matter that is being expressed will be very, very sought after in the upcoming future. You find this information is actually found in pockets in the suburbs, but you really haven't had it exposed in a broad manner that is being expressed and being directed for those that are living in the inner city. You'll find plenty. Google it. You'll see Reiki's been around quite a bit. Some of the topics that I go into is chakras and crystals and dowsing and channeling and things of that nature. These are not new concepts. These things are quite old. However, there has been a concerted effort to keep this information out of the major schools and out of the attention zone of people. And there's a reason for all that, but we'll go on to that at another time. So just briefly, what I have in my goodie bag here is a prize. For the first person who responds on the Facebook page, Sharif Ahmed's Facebook page, to this particular question that I'll be asking in a moment, you will have your choice of a particular product brought to you by Our Sons and Daughters, LLC. Option number 1. These are sage sticks, otherwise called smudge sticks. These are been used in purification processes going back thousands of years, most notably by the Native Americans. What you would do with these particular sage sticks, you can keep them in a bundle, or you can kind of take the string off and get a little bits and pieces of it and actually light those. You light the sage, and the smoke that actually emanates from the sage stick actually purifies the air, and it brings in the positive ions, aka the bad juju. You hear individuals say, and even myself, if I would move into another home, I have no idea what type of energetic remains stayed in that home. And yes, we're going to be talking about energy, frequency, and vibration. I believe it was Nikola Tesla, great man, a man that if he was listened to 100 years ago, basically us as a humanity and a civilization has been in a stupor, in a sleep state, because 100-year sleep state, because of that information that was being shared by Nikola Tesla is being swept under the rug. Some of you may not even heard that name before, but Nikola Tesla was an individual who devised a way to create what's called zero-point energy, actually producing energy from out of thin air. This information led him to be very, very unpopular for those that decided to bring the system of electricity through fossil fuels or coal, and this antiquated old type of structures that's always depending on another system, which aka was money. So just think about that. Nikola Tesla shared a way you can get free, pure energy with no ill effects to the planet. And so he's a person by the bad actors that are actually in position and have been in position for quite some time. They don't want you to know about that. However, Nikola Tesla spoke about the nature of reality needs to be looked at between energy, vibration, and frequency. So with these particular sage sticks, like I said, the smoke actually can dissipate the energy or the frequency. You might find yourself, most people don't know is that, and not get into the main topic, I'm going on a little tangent here, but I think this information is very, very needed, that everyone has an energy field around them. You have a force field around you. So every time you walk in a large, highly concentrated area, just think Manhattan, New York. If you haven't been there, just put on a movie. Just see how the streets are totally packed. Whenever you walk past individuals, a little bit of their energy field merges with your energy field, a little bit of their mannerisms, their thoughts, and any type of things that they're dealing with get deposited on you. So it's very, very key to get that energy off of you. So I didn't bring any of my sage spray. That's actually a very, very popular product that's really taken over the city as a sage spray. It's a smokeless alternative. You can spray it on you. But this, we're going to stick to this idea. So with the sage, it actually does that purpose, as well as this sticks here. This is called Palo Santo. So this is option number 1 is the sage stick for whoever was the first to respond to this particular question I'm going to ask. Option 2, the Palo Santo sticks, does the same idea pretty much. It's like lemons to lime idea technically. But it does the same idea, as well as option 3. We have our wonderful soy candle here that I'll be giving away today. This is our imported mahogany, very, very popular amongst the gentlemen. Lavender, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for this wonderful fragrance of lavender, really calming effect that it has, as well as the sage leaf candle. Let me see if I can position all 3 of these at the same times here. So, question time. The question that I pose to anyone who has the wherewithal, the want to respond via call in, or you can send a message to Sharif's page. This is now being promoted live. Is have you meditated today? Or better question is, how do you start? How do you spiritually prepare for your day in the morning? If you have a particular regimen or particular procedure that you would like to share, please do that. Call in or call into the number 717-846-5067, or send a message to this particular link comment, and you can win one of these particular products. The candles go for $13.50. The sage is $5, and the Palo Santo is $2. So please, if you feel like the waterfall, jump on there, and then I'll get in contact with you later on in the evening, and you can feel free to pick it up there at the Central Market House on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays between the hours of 9 to 2. So there we go. I will repeat that question at the end. I know people kind of getting your popcorn ready and getting in a nice cozy spot. So first, before I go into it, thank you for those who have donated towards the GoFundMe page that was designed in order to help our good brother here with the medical expenses. He's been dealing with some health issues, particularly finding a donor for a kidney. So if you have the wherewithal to that, this gentleman that I came to know is a very, very special individual who really cares about his community, cares about the youth, and does his very best to be a pillar, similar to the pillars that preceded us in the civil rights era. And it's very, very, I get a shout out for all those that's in the city that's actually doing something to better the generation that's coming after us, because before I start my talks, when I speak to young people, I go to different high schools, I participate with the 100-man read. Very first thing I do is I apologize to the youth. I apologize for my generation and the balls that we dropped to allow our youth to experience some of the things that they shouldn't have experienced because we weren't doing our thing. But the buck stops here. My shout outs go all to, I give my Star Seed shout out to all the individuals working in the trenches to better the youth, the conditions of youth, educationally, inspirationally, entrepreneurially. You got my salute. So if you feel free to, I'm going to send it out again, the GoFundMe page. If you feel free, whatever you have to donate towards that, it would be greatly received. So once again, that question that I'm going to pose, if you feel free to comment, is how do you spiritually prepare yourself for the day? Have you meditated? Briefly, what I wanted to kind of focus on today is exercises, actually tangible things that you can do to increase your peace during this very, very intense time. The time that we're living in is a highly charged environment, not just here on the planet Earth, which I'll be actually doing a WITF show, I think in about a week, where we're going to be speaking about global warming and things of that nature. However, this particular planet that we're residing on is going through tremendous changes. It's going through tremendous changes due to the portion of space that we have the portion of space that we are now orbiting in. When I say we, I mean not just the Earth. I mean this whole entire solar system. We got to think galactically as far as what's taking place, because not only the symptoms that we see on this planet as far as the melting of the ice caps, and increasing of the heat and things of that nature, that's taking place on each planet in our solar system, as well as the sun has done some really peculiar activity. Actually, since 12/21/2012. If anyone don't know what that date is, that's the date that the Mayans was sharing. It was the end of an era and the beginning of a new era. So right now we're in 2023, so we're 10 years, 11 years into it, and we got further to go, but it's increasing in its degrees every single day. We are being changed genetically, DNA inside of us. We are actually opting and switching and changing. And some of you all, here's some signs to look for to show if you are actually ascending, so to speak, meaning being able to capsulize this particular energy and actually move in harmony with where it is going. And I made the analogy last week that if you imagine yourself in your front room and you have a flood waters coming in, at what point in time, would you choose to kind of decide and act what you're going to do? Either A, you're going to keep your feet firmly implanted in the ground, or would you correspond with the energy that's taking place and put yourself in a more advantageous position, aka some floatable shoes will help. So as we begin to, this energy begins to evolve more and more, we begin to ascend into happiness, which I'll get to that in a little bit. That's the key thing of all the information that I've gained. And if anybody wants to know where I'm getting this information, you're going to have to call in. I'm not call in, or you're going to have to purchase the book. The book's not out yet. However, if you want any detailed information, I will go detail some of this information. I'm going to kind of do kind of generally, but some ways you can find that you're ascending is if noticing repeating numbers like 1111, 222, 911, or 119. And that one's particularly interesting. That's one that is said, and I can bear witness to it, that your ancestors are trying to reach out to you. I just 10 minutes, 20 minutes before I actually came into this particular studio, I actually seen a beloved family member of mine, and I stopped and had a brief little conversation, and he was going through some things. And I share with him, this is the time. This is the school. This is Earth school, basically. We incarnate. Everyone who's listening at home, you are infinite beings. You are infinitely powerful beings. You are interdimensional beings. You have more power than you know. And we lay all that power down when we come into this third dimensional matrix form of life. That's why we forget everything. You come as a baby, you got to start all over again. You don't remember the lives that you lived before, and you lived plenty. And that's why I'm particularly keen to be a youth advocate at this particular time, because the youth that are walking this earth right now are some of the oldest souls, or some of the souls that have been sent and dispatched here for the sole purpose of assisting the evolution of this planet, because this planet is going to another evolutionary state. So the youth, have a conversation with your youth. They get what I'm saying. They understand. They quite a few of them see the repeating numbers, the ringing in your ears, even some precognition abilities is really starting to come to the forefront. You ever find yourself, the phone rings, and then you grab the phone and say, hey man, I was just thinking about giving you a call. Deja vu, things of that nature. So when you go onto my YouTube show, Ptah Shakur, these are some of the subject matters that we're slowly getting inundated to everybody before we can kind of go into the good stuff. Like I said, I am a researcher, not only a spiritual teacher. My beginnings was through science. Using logic and reason was the order of the day, is the order of the day, and actually led me to this particular path in which this accumulation of knowledge. So signs you can know that you're ascending, noticing repeating numbers, bringing in your ear, precognition type of activities. Even some individuals reached out to me as far as having dreams, and then the next day it happens exactly the way that they say. So this is all keep calm, keep calm. Anything that is expressed from me is going to be light, love, calm. That is deliberate, because there are other agencies that do not want you to have light. They want you to reside in darkness, with hiding and keeping secret information, which I go into. They don't want you to operate in love. They want you to operate in hate. They want you to operate in division. You have to pick a side of a war. You got to pick a side. You don't have to pick any side. Pick love. Division, separation is an illusion. And it's an illusion that is really propagated by the powers that be. As long as we can pit one against another, they can rake in. And like I said on the previous episode, the 1% of the population owns 99% of the wealth. And I think they're going for 99.5 through these particular tactics, which will not come to pass. So don't have to worry about that. So light, love, peace, calm. Please keep calm. There is some information that I do kind of prognosticate. If you would go to my Ptah Shakur page and go to what I've shared in January, a forecast for what's taking place for the rest of 2023, quite a few of them has already taken place. And so the next ones, everybody's on the get on the seat of your chair there. The next bit of information are activities from the and I think last time I was on the show, was I disconnected about 3 times? I believe so. So that's how you know you're getting into some stuff. I'm actually broadcast quite a bit, and this information. I was on the show and said I'm a dangerous man. It's me on the top of the hill waving the sword. Dangerous if you know the knowledge of what's taking place, and unafraid to share that particular knowledge. So here I am. So this real group briefly, and then I get into the meat of what I gotta speak about. It's 40 minutes. I'll recommend anyone who has a question. I'll stop everything and dialogue with anybody that calls in. The number again is 717-846-5067. And I believe there's another number that's underneath. That's for the salads. Last week I came with some wonderful healthy salads, which I go into why it's important to eat things of life and get away from this meat. And that can really kind of open up your mind. So some of these things can be a little evident. But back to the bad actors. Bad actors are doing everything they can to feed you things that are not good for your body. They're masters at that, particularly here in the hells of North America. Not only that, just fear. When you can get a person to operate in the level of fear, they're easily controlled. There's a study. For anyone who's listening at home, here's some homework for you. It's called kinesiology, K-I-N-esology. I don't know how to spell it. However, what it is it's also called muscle testing, and I actually have experience with this going back a couple years. Muscle testing, in short, is when you would take an individual and you would have their arm stick straight out, nothing too elaborate, and you take another individual and they would take two fingers on the top of your wrist, pretty much, and they would ask you to resist. This is fairly easy for someone with anyone that's an adult. You can pretty much resist them. It's not pushed down too hard. However, through the kinesiology or muscle testing, different questions are asked, and what it demonstrates is that when a person is operating in a state of fear, they are easily physically moved. I believe there's a man named Darren Brown who's a really impactful dude out of London. He actually has a couple YouTube videos, and this one particular, he went to a boxing gym. Had a whole bunch of burly boxing guys, everybody was sweating. He went up, he's a short statured gentleman, and he asked three individuals. First individual was kind of shorter in build. He asked them to pick up this female participant that happened to be there. He just picked her out of a crowd, which is easy. So what he did was, the participant lifted the woman up very easily. So Darren Brown went behind the individual and held his hand up to his back. He said, "Okay, I'll try it now." The gentleman could not get that woman to budge. He could not get her off her feet. All right, person number two picked another individual who had a little more muscular build. Same woman. He picked her up. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So then he went behind his back, put his hand up. I don't know what I can share with you at another time exactly what he was doing. But that individual could not lift. He couldn't understand how he could not lift something that he just previously lifted with very ease. In short, whenever you're operating in fear, not only you become physically weak, and this can actually be, this energy is really tapped into in sports. I watch quite a bit of sports when you're dealing with momentum and basketball, football, that you'll be surprised with the change of a mentality, what that does to your physical performance on the field. So when you're able to, if you're a football and you come across the middle and Ray Lewis is right there, he's tearing you up, the next time you go, you're a little hesitant, you got a little bit of fear in you, it's going to affect your speed, it's going to affect your stamina and things of that nature. So that's the muscle testing. So not only did you become physically weak from fear, and I'm going somewhere with this, you also become spiritually weak. Spiritually weak where you become easily influenced to temptation, easily influenced into lack of motivation. And then you tie into this epidemic, I would call it, is as far as the legalization of marijuana. Now, I know I might get a couple hateful calls. Hey, I don't even mind that, actually. or some weird looks when I see individuals on the street. However, you got to ask the question. You got to play chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Why is it that they choose to legalize marijuana to the extent that it is? You can go anywhere and find marijuana. You can go to a gas station, in a very short amount of time, it went from something that was being seen as I had family members that was locked up. Now you can go to a place and do some cockamamie excuse, and you have an individual dance out to the car to give you to give you some marijuana. Why? Why at this time, this key juncture in time, would they want? I answer the question. I'm answering the question that I'm asking. I should pose that as a question and give away a gift. However, I'm just going to go into it. When you can get a person to constantly be weeded out of their mind and lack the inspiration and the motivation to get things done, and you can bring fear-based activities such as, I don't even know if I need to say, all the different things that are being propagated in our mass media and in our news agencies that instill fear. And we'll go into false flags things another time. I do that on hop on Ptah Shakur on YouTube. We can talk about some false flag stuff. Anyways, the point is, it's very, very important for us to keep our peace of mind, keep calm at this particular time, because in the next couple of days, there will be certain things that is actually will try to shake your calm. I shared on previous episodes as far as to keep your eyes on the sky. You're going to see a lot of things moving around. This is back in January, this is before the Chinese balloon or whatever the heck they call it. And I believe it's really some things are really catching a lot of traction. Is this I believe it was Las Vegas. It was a sighting, police body cam, seeing this light come out of the sky, and then you have these young people saying that they're seeing a 10-foot alien in the backyard. I told my queen I wasn't going to speak too much on some alien stuff, so I'm going to keep it just here. There is, basically, long story short, there is a system that is well established to create fear in individuals. I'll just keep it at that. So, signs you're ascending, repeating numbers, ringing in your ear, precognition abilities, those things is coming up. So, I go back to the question before I go into the meat of what I'm going to be going into today. Is 8. We've got 30 minutes to go. So, anybody wants to call in or, like I said, make a comment on the Facebook page there. What is your method of spiritually preparing your day? Is it meditation? Is it a walk? What are you doing to go within yourself to find the peace in the mountain of light and happiness that resides in you that other people don't want you to look? They want you to look everywhere outside, but they don't want you to look in the very place where you need to look, which is deep inside yourself. So anybody wants to respond to that, any response, you get a choice of 1 sage stick, 2 palo santo, 3 porter mahogany candle, sage leaf candle, or a wonderful lavender candle, all soy based, very clean burning, very long lasting, wonderful. Now, getting into the good stuff. Oh, also in next week, we believe I'll be on this show next week, looking to bring some guests to show that I am not alone in what is being expressed. You might see this my little self here, and it's like, okay, this is this man just coming up and inventing these type of ideas. You will see factual evidence. I'm actually going to use this backboard here and actually put different images up. I figured those would be better than the little cardboard cutouts that I would be bringing, and can't see too well. But please call in. The number is 717-846-5067. So, just going into the topic that I think is very, very important, and I believe if those that have the ability to record this, save this, share this with the people that you love, you may want to come back and revisit this in a year or so. These are exercises to increase your peace. Exercises that you can use at this particular time. You may not have another person to turn to. You might be in a home with 5 people, and all 5 of them is getting on your nerves, and you're driving you to the brink of sanity, which is really, really expected at this particular time. We're all responsible for our own well-being, our own mental health, our own happiness. You can't blame it on anybody else. So, Ptah Shakur is giving you things that you can do daily to increase your peace, to increase your connection to your higher self, to the divine connection that is everywhere. And you can actually enter into this peace that is much, much needed at this time. Number 1. Visualization exercises. Now, On the previous show, I shared about imagination and how imagination is one of our superpowers, including sleep and our memories, and how to kind of go back and rewrite our memories, which is very complicated, but I'll go into that another time. But your imagination, well, in this system, in this world, in this matrix that we're currently living in, we are dissuaded from using our imagination. As with children, we all had it. Some of you had imaginary friends, which you thought were imaginary, but it turns out they were realer than you thought. You were at a frequency where you was able to see and interact with angelic beings and ancestors and things of the nature. Watch babies. Babies, when they're first born, they're laughing and gaga going. They're looking up in the corner. What are they looking at? They are of a particular frequency. They have not been tainted by the limitations of this world. And once you accept limitations into your mind, limitations become your reality. That's how powerful human thought is. Mind is the most powerful thing. So with your imagination, through visualizations, such as there's books out called The Secret and The Law of Attraction and things of that nature. When you imagine yourself in this beautiful home with hardwood, beautiful home, you got to be specific with your visualizations. You got to be specific with what you want. Anything you want in life, you got to be really, really detailed and lock your emotions into it. So if you're in a house and you got the water is leaking through your ceiling, and your kids are running around and tearing stuff up, and you got dogs, and everything is just not an ideal situation, we find ourselves praying, projecting out, I want a beautiful house. I want a house. As soon as you say I want, the universe listens. God listens. Angels listen. However, we got to finish the conversation. I want a house. Why do I want a house? Because I'm tired of this ugly house with this stank carpet and these this, that, and the third. The more you speak about what you don't want, the universe will say, okay, well, that must be what he wants. Very, very important. Wherever your focus goes your power of manifesting. So if your power of manifesting is into lack, which you don't have, the house that you don't want, the relationship that you don't want, the job that you don't want, you're just going to repeat and you're going to get more of the same. So if you want to experience a beautiful house, this is how it's done. You say, I want to have this beautiful house so I can enjoy the smell of the trees out in nature. I want to enjoy a beautiful house because I want to have more space for my valuables. I want to have more space for my bad kids to run around and not hurt themselves. You know, so speaking towards the positive of what you always speak to what you want. Never speak what you don't want. And don't spend your time around people that always talk about what they don't want or talk about things that are terrible and bad. Those are the terrible. Oh, the city is oh my God, York City is it's terrible. All the kids is terrible. All this and that. Leave them be. That's how beautiful this system is. You get what you want. You get what you're focused on, shall I say. So it's time for us. And now this is something that could be taught in schools. Unfortunately, it isn't. But these are things that are actually known about those that's on the upper echelon, those Bill Gates and Elon Musk. They know that. They know what it is that I'm sharing. And they're giggling to themselves. Because even the law, like I said before in the previous episode, even the law of reciprocity. Give to charity. Give things like that. Once you give, there's a universal law which you have to get back. So back to this universal law as far as imagination. Focus on what you want and with detail. So if you want your house, so you can have enough space so your bad kids can run around, and you want to have a smell of the ocean or whatever, and then you tie in your emotions to it. How does it sound when you walk across the floor? How does it sound when your keys are going through the door? Small things. And even in that, be appreciative for what you got. That's the key thing that'll kickstart your manifestation abilities, is to be appreciative for what you have. So if you have a house and your roof is dripping down, at least you got something. So it's very, very important to focus on being grateful. The power of gratefulness will pull you from the darkest, deepest depths of depression and immediately put you in the face and in the vision of this manifestating powers that exist. And yeah, I'll just keep it like that. Number 2, exercises to use to increase your peace. And again, if you're listening at home, make sure you can call in number 717-846-5067. Second idea to share as far as how to increase your peace at this particular turbulent time that we're living in is find time to daydream. Believe it or not, COVID actually kickstarted a lot of people towards the positive aspect of it. Now, I understand the fear aspect of it. It was an extremely fearful time. However, just from the standpoint of getting people out of their routines, people where you wake up 8 o'clock, you go there, you go get your coffee, get your. I ain't gonna talk about McDonald's. You would go get your little breakfast sandwich, and you would fill whatever lack of nutrients into your system there. And then you would go out your day, you would take your lunch break, you would do this, you was in a routine. And like I shared on previous episodes, you have your body consciousness. Your body is able to operate without your mind, without your spirit initiating certain things. But yeah, your body does, you can sleepwalk, you can drive, you can do a lot of things. And like, man, what am I doing? So what COVID did, was it shook everybody from their system. You couldn't go down to your Piggly Wiggly's supermarket. That's a supermarket down in the South for those that don't get that reference. And so you had a time where your body consciousness was looking around and saying, man, I don't know what to do. Enter in your higher self, your mind. So you actually had to use concrete thinking. What do I want to do with my life now? What do I want to do with this? So if we can be persuaded to go back into that mindset of being overworked and overstressed, and you don't have time for this, you don't have time for your kids, you don't have time for your own peace of mind. We talk about meditation. Meditation, 5 minutes a day. What do we do for 5 minutes that we could be on TikTok for an hour? Easy. However, spending 5 minutes and actually being able to connect to the divine source that's within you is what your body is calling for. It's what your ancestors are calling for. It is what is necessary if you want to move on to these different dimensions of perception, clarity, and understanding. So when you're overworked and you hear that alarm, you hop up to your feet and you go on this, that, and the third, and you're running around like the episode, was it the Jetsons? Or maybe it was Flintstones, where you're just running out. And yeah, it was Flintstones. He was always late. However, if you could spend a bit of that time, when you wake up, your alarm goes off. Everybody has alarms, cell phone alarms or whatever. Turn that alarm off. Set it for another 15 minutes. Sit there in your bed and visualize, intentionally project what it is that you want your day to be. Okay, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Plot your day out. Even before you lay down at night to go to sleep. Don't just pass out and go to sleep, drink alcohol, you just pass out. No, go to bed at a reasonable time and review your day. Okay, what did I do today? Go backwards to forward. Okay, this is what I did. I ate dinner, then I had lunch, and I did this. Review your day, and then in the morning when you wake up, project what it is that you want to be entering into. And you'll see that you will positively contaminate your next move. These are some words that I've coined, so I'm a patent that one. Positively contaminate your next move while you're still laying in your bed. That means that next scene in your life that you're entering into, you've already started sprinkling little magic dust, and you'll be surprised at what the universe gifts you. Every day is a gift, and you'll find yourself experiencing things that are almost otherworldly. Your luck starts to go on your side, whereas before, you'll be surprised. The bad things always happen to me. I mean, there was a gentleman I was talking to a couple months ago. He spilled something. He said, man, I'm always messing up. I'm always spilling something. I was like, man, you'll continue to mess up and spill something with that mentality. Speaking to yourself is very, very, very important, and how our bodies is comprised of 75 to 80% water, and water is reflective of energy. It's been proven. There's a Japanese scientist named Dr. Amamoto. Check it out on YouTube, please. If anybody think I'm lying, check it out. He's actually took water and he spoke to it and he flash froze it. And when he says positive things, it looks like these wonderful snowflakes. When he says hurtful things, it turns into these abnormal, asymmetric type of shapes. He even did music. He played beautiful classical music to the water. Flash freezed it. Beautiful images. He got all of. He has books. He's a well-known individual. You'll be amazed what you find when you're not on TikTok all the time. And so even with music, I'm not going to spend too much on this, but our youth, one of the reasons I apologize to them is the music that they listen to. It's overly sexed. It throws off the root chakra, and it doesn't allow them to have a connection to source because they're too overly sexed, and the music is really sending those frequencies of distorted energy into your body. Like I said, you're comprised of 70 to 80% water. So you listening to harmful music. And even they changed the music standard. I think it was back in 1920s, 1930s. Anybody that's online, listen to my voice, fact check me. I believe it was the Rockefellers. Changed they changed the base of which music is tuned to. So we're operating, music is not even hitting us the way that it's supposed to because the music scale has been changed. So music is very, very important. Back to what I was sharing as far as find time to daydream. You're laying in your bed, spend 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't get on your phone and start checking Facebook. Chill, let's leave the phone over there. Go into your own internal Facebook and find your peace of mind. Because there's the bad actors do not want that. They want you working constantly, so you are disconnected from yourself, just so they can sell extra Gucci belts and Jordan sneakers and whatever, and constantly just pull the 1% of finances that's out there, so they can at least get that 99.5%. Third idea. You could practice seeing auras. Auras is this. Everyone, like I said before, has an energy field that is surrounding them. If you don't believe me, I think my queen was on here a couple months ago. She had those little wands, 1,000 wands. And you can even make them at home. You don't even have to buy them. I did this when I was living in the projects. Yes, I used to live in the projects, y'all. When I lived in the projects, what I did was take I'm going to bring some in here. You take a metal hanger, if you can find metal hangers anywhere, and you actually bend them to the shape of an L. What I mean by that is maybe 5 inches to 10 inches, just like an L, capital letter L. Put a McDonald's straw or a Burger King straw, let me stop talking about McDonald's, and place that in the form of on the handle. So when you're holding it, and you can bend it up to keep the straw in place, of course. And so you have no kind of control, almost like nunchucks. So when you hold these straws, you're not making physical contact with the wire because you're holding the straw. You'll see, if you think something positive, you see that they will actually go out into an outer point out because your energy field is expanding. If you think something negative, then you'll see that they'll actually start to intertwine and actually come in. Individuals been using these dowsing rods for centuries, particularly for finding water. A lot of farmers use that to find underground streams, because when you're out in the farm, you're gonna need some well water, So this is not new information, everybody. This is something that the settlers actually learned from the Native Americans. So you can actually walk over a bit of land, and when you find those things move, they pick up the energy of water that is to be 20 feet under the ground. It's really amazing. Do some research on Darren Brown, kinesiology, and water dowsing rods. So it's very, very key. Spend that time in the bed, visualizing the day, projecting what you want. Somebody they can wait. Somebody waiting for you to pick them up, they can wait 5 minutes. They got phones. They can play around. They be on TikTok on their phone until you come pick them up. Your peace of mind is your responsibility. Meditation. This is something that it seems to be very, very confusing to most people. It's like, how do I meditate? I get that question quite a bit on my YouTube program, as well as in day-to-day interactions with people. Do you think it is something special you got to do? You got to buy some special yoga mat or some special type of crystal and things. Simply what meditation is you closing your eyes. Your eyes actually receive I don't recall the amount of information, but it receives tremendous amount of information per second that your brain really has to decode and analyze whatever it's going to keep or whatever it's going to throw away and not register. That's how we can use our eyes, and we really can't see what's really in front of our face. And anybody that doesn't believe that, you go to Netflix. There's something called Brain Games. Brain Games is a clear demonstration how you can look at something. You can say, oh yeah, that thing is gray. Then you turn it upside down, like, no, that's black. So basically, we don't see with our eyes. We see with our brains. Our brains tell our eyes what it is to recognize. So we're being bombarded with information every day. And like I was sharing about young people or babies, they are able, their antenna, their frequency is completely open where they can see everything that's going on because they don't have limitations in their mind. The more you have limitations in your mind, the less you'll see. Yeah, that even takes place in relationships. Like you have your best friend might tell you, hey, girl, you need to leave him alone. Don't you see he's doo-doo-doo, da-da-da, da-da-da. He's doing this and doing this and doing this. I don't know what you're talking about. Just completely oblivious because if you don't want your brain to recognize something, you will never recognize it. That goes from paranormal activity, ghosts, and things of that nature. I told my wife I wasn't going to speak about all of that. So the idea is meditation is just simply the closing of your eyes. When you close your eyes, you automatically stop a lot of information that's bombarding your brain. That is the reason why the bad actors have started this thing on YouTube. Now it's YouTube Shorts, TikTok. It's so many things that we're bombarded with to the point we forgot about ourselves. So closing your eyes. And you can do a little bit of visualization. The first thing was visualization. This is what you visualize. And if you're ready for a fight, all my tough individuals out there that can hear the sound of my voice, if you're ready for a fight in the middle of the day, just pick a time, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Go sit down somewhere and close your eyes and imagine nothing. Imagine black fabric, black vastness of space, just nothing at all. I dare you to do it for more than 10 seconds. What you'll find is when you close your eyes and it's going to be difficult at first. You'll sit there and you close your eyes, and for 2-3 seconds you'll hear a voice. World Star. That's from the KRS video. Check out that one. KRS World Star video. Very deep. Close your eyes. You'll hear your voice. You'll start speaking to yourself. Your subconscious will speak to you and say, "This is stupid. Why are we doing this? This is dumb. I got better things to do." Like looking at. I might be missing something on TikTok. There's something really great that Caitlyn Jenner just did. I just need to see it. No. Just sit there for 10 seconds and you'll find your thoughts will be pulled, and just pull yourself back and do it in a loving way. This is really, really key, y'all. Love yourself. Love everything about yourself. Love your thoughts, love your shadow self, love your higher self. Because when you do that, then you have a little bit better relationship with yourself. What I mean by that is, so when you're putting yourself through this meditative state, you're imagining nothing. And it's going to be difficult. Something's gonna pop you. Oh man, I forgot to turn off turn off the coffee pot at work. Oh, what I'm gonna do tomorrow? Just gently, oh so gently, say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing that right now. Right now, I'm focusing on nothing. Don't beat yourself up. Man, I can't do this right. Oh man, I must not be good at this. Oh man, it's hard. Oh man, and you'll sit down for another 5 seconds. You think you're doing good. Then you start thinking about some KFC chicken. You talk about something you get from Piggly Wigglies. Be easy on yourself. These are skills and talents that have not been developed yet, and it's going to take some time. Even for the most professional individuals, not too many people can just sit down and just go into this Zen-like state and access the universal power, which you are. Overnight. Nothing is easy. If you watch The Matrix, even when Neo went to go jump over that, Morpheus told him, it's all in your mind. Morpheus jumped over to the other side of the building, but Neo fell. And the first thing they said is everybody falls the first time. So don't be dismayed on that. Just find yourself, put yourself in a regimen to do it. 5 minutes every day. Even you can add this into your daydreaming thing. Just sit there and just imagine nothing for about 5 minutes. Then get up. Next one is ways you can exercise your own peace. And anybody who's listening at home, like I said, I didn't hit the microphone. 10 more minutes to go. Sweet. Anybody's listening at home, if you want to participate with the challenge that I presented for everybody to share via Facebook, how do you spiritually prepare for your day? Have you meditated? What is your procedure? And you can win sage stick, Palo Santo, or these wonderful candles provided by our sons and daughters. So I'm just going to wrap this up with just two more. I shared about crystals. If you can see, I got crystals on. I have a crystal here. This is an obsidian, which is good for protecting from quote-unquote negative energy or unwanted energy. I choose to say that because everything is energy, positive or negative, not no good or bad. However, it's protecting of that, as well as bracelets, crystals bracelets, which you can also find at our sons and daughters there on Central Market. These are tools that will assist individuals to increase your peace. So moving on, eating high vibe foods. In case y'all don't know, and this is what's been bubbling, I've been hearing a little bit about it, it's like this meat crisis. The shortage of chicken, the price of chicken. If the price of chicken is going up and the price of beef is going up and it's really hitting your bottom line, is really tapping out your wallets, I persuade you, entreat you, in fact, to look up a book by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called How to Eat to Live. Are we eating to live, or are we living to eat? So in that book, and you'll find it just a simple navy bean. He taught that, and I think the Muslims back in that time, they made they had bean pie and bean biscuits, a bunch of things you can make from beans. Bean soup. Guess what I'll be having tonight? You got it. Bean soup. Bean soup and salad, and sea moss too. Sea moss provides quite a bit of nutrients that you need, light energy to propel you towards finding your happiness, as opposed to things that are comprised of death. Like I said, when you hear that cow and he's going through the slaughterhouse, you hear all those moos going off, they're not just saying it for no apparent reason at all. They're actually sharing that because they're actually communicating the pain that they're going through. And then that fear, like I said about fear, makes you weak. The fear goes into the meat of the particular animal. You eat that energetic remains going to you. You find you have problems in your joints. I don't know why I have problems my knees and my elbows and all my joints. That's that karma that's going into your actual physical body. And you can go to these medical professionals. We'll talk about medical professionals at another time. They will not give you the reason. They'll give you something to pain relief to kind of make you feel a little better. But it's not a solution that you can actually apply. So eating foods in high vibration, vegetables, fruit, and even if you're on the level, if you have some seeds, grow your own, organic. You'll find that there's even the apples that you see in the grocery stores, they have so much wax on them. They want to make them look all beautiful and delightful. But you don't take no apple and just start biting on it. Got to wash that thing off. Take some apple cider vinegar. You'll see that wax comes right off, so you can actually fill your body with the true nutrients that your body was intended to experience. One of the last but not least, I got to go into journaling. I'll go into that another time, and how important writing your information down and writing your thoughts down is very, very important, and why they call it spelling. When you go to a spelling bee and spell, and how spell actually relates to incantations, or would you see movies where a witch does something and she casts a spell. There's some power that you're able to tap into just from journaling. Get into that another time. The last one I'm going to kind of go into, two, is practice smiling. It's been scientifically proven to elevate yourself. Just go to a mirror and just show those pearly whites. Smiling. You'll be amazed on how, and I shared in the previous episode, that our face actually emits light. This is peer-reviewed science. It's been proven. This is factual matters. It just didn't make it to your high school textbooks yet. So with the act of smiling, it actually increases your physical vibration and increase um, your cells. It's very powerful to do it. Just practice smiling. Last but not least, take a class. Particularly, take a class offered by myself. Very shortly I will be beginning seminars to teach individuals how to access their higher being and their spiritual essence, particularly with youth and children. Um, there's ways that we can go into astral projection, going into basically how to connect with this wonderful source. Because even taking it back to the scriptures, this is something that Jesus said. He said they were sharing all the things that Jesus was able to do, and Jesus was a miraculous individual, very, very miraculous. However, Jesus said in the scripture, he said, "Greater works shall ye do," meaning that Jesus knew that there was going to be a particular time, this time, in which we would have the ability to express more. No, don't jump on me for more. Be able to express those same type of gifts that Jesus was able to perform, that we are very well capable of doing that moving into this. So take a class led by an Ascended Master. Don't have to be myself. There's plenty. It's not just me that's existed in this world. However, I am the individual who has taken the position to be the bridge to help facilitate individuals to this new paradigm of Christ consciousness that is actually coming in, and it's coming in fast, y'all. I apologize. This is I don't even apologize. Sorry, I can't apologize. That this is the knowledge that has been bestowed upon me to present to as many people as I possibly can, to give everybody a fighting chance to enter into this heavenly experience and not be caught up in the delusions and that is upon us by the bad actor. So again, in short, I think I'm finishing up in time here. This is Ptah Shakur. I'll be on the show next Wednesday, and I plan on having a guest on here as well, and can share their particular perspective. Everyone has their own path and perspective. You cannot judge another person. If you find yourself in that household with 5 individuals that are just crazy and they're tearing at your peace of mind, and you want to have somebody to talk to, stop by or stand there at Central Market. But people already stop by. It's like a beacon for individuals to kind of come and express these type of ideas that you may not feel comfortable. And then in the same capacity, love those that do not particularly agree with what you say. They all have their own time. We are entering into a wonderful environment. We can either choose to move into it fast, or we can choose to move into it slow. But either way, we're moving into something really, really powerful. Anyone who says anything to the opposition, that, oh, this world is hell, it's going to hell, it's going to be this, that, and the third, they are just basically being reflectors of information instead of being projectors, which we are divinely, the divine right is to project knowledge that which we are. And when you find yourself doing that, you're going to offend at least somebody. When you're being your authentic self, there's no one that is actually going to see. You are a unique snowflake, so no one is going to see exactly the same way that you are. So don't be easy on your family members when it comes to sharing this information, because they all receive it time released, shall I say. So again, this is Ptah Shakur. This is the exercises that we've gone over as far as how to increase your peace. Recommend individuals that have the ability to donate to my good brother here on the GoFundMe page to help him with his medical expenses. Please do that. And if you want to make that comment on the Facebook, even after the show is over, you might watch this on a rerun or replay or something, and you want to chime in and share whatever particular ritual or practice or method that you use to spiritually get ready for your day full of intention. Please share that. And again, you all that can hear the sound of my voice, you are infinitely powerful. As you share your light, you subconsciously give others the right to share their light. And so please, we have a lot of different, listen to your youth. Your youth are really tapped in right now. And even some of the negative aspect that we see going on in our society as a result of some of the youth They have that power inside them. They have that God-given reign. However, they need to be guided through those that are well-meaning and knowledgeable to guide them. So please reach your hand out to youth. If you don't have any, be an uncle. You take the kids on your block. Just drop a little bit of wisdom onto it. Do what our ancestors did, our civil rights leaders did. They fought very hard to prepare this tree that they planted seeds that they knew that they was not going to have an opportunity to see grow into its fruition, and that's the time that we're living in right now. So again, this is Ptah Shakur. It's been a blast, and I look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday for the Hour of Power. Love and light to everyone. That's all?